this video, I'm going to record how to solve quadratic equation using square root property. And also, I'm going to talk about complex numbers. So first, what is square root property? Square root property, the name says it. You're taking square root, okay? And you can solve, this is like a shortcut of solving quadratic equation when you have x squared and number only. So if you have something square and number only, like number 16, we have x squared equals 81. So what you're doing here, we're just going to take square root in both sides because square root is opposite operation of square, right? So when I do square root, the square is going to disappear. Make sense? So square root of x squared is technically just x. And then I need to take square root in both sides because whatever you do it in both sides. So here we're using the operation square root and we're doing it in both sides. Now, what is square root of 81? That's 9. And now, we have x equals 9. This is quadratic equation, right? Yes? So it's a quadratic equation. And hold on a second, this is just popping out. So we have quadratic equation, and this quadratic equation, how many solutions is going to have? It's going to have 2 solutions. So one of them is 9, and what is going to be the other one? Negative 9. Good job. It's going to be a negative 9 because negative 9 times negative 9 is also positive 81. Everybody understand that? So what you need to remember is if you have to take square root, you always have to put positive or negative number you get. Now, how you do square root on the calculator? On the calculator, you're going to press second and x squared, and that's going to give you the square root. Yes? I'm just showing you how to do it on a calculator. Second x squared give you x square root, and then if you put 81 there, press enter, it's going to give you 9. Okay? So the answers are 9 and negative 9. Again, doesn't matter which one goes first because there are 2 solutions. It's quadratic. All the quadratics have 2 answers. Got it? Okay. Now, going to the next one, which is going to be pretty much the same way. But here we don't have just x squared. We have something in parentheses square. So what you're going to do, we're going to do the same. We're going to take square root. But before that, we have to get square equals number. So before I take square root, I have to move 36 over. So I'm going to add 36 in both sides. And I'm going to get y plus 3 square equals 36. So we get not just x squared, we have something square equals number. Again, we're going to take square root in both sides. Again, you're going to put plus and minus in front. And that is going to give us 2 solutions when you solve the 2 equations. And the 2 equations you're going to solve are going to be y plus 3 equals, what is square root of 36? 6. And the other one, you have another one, which is y plus 3 equals negative 6, yes. So those are the 2 equations, linear equations we have to solve to finish it, to find what is y equals. You got it? So how you solve y plus 3 equals 6? You're going to subtract 3 in both sides. And that gives me y equals 3. That's my first answer. And when I solve the other one, I'm going to subtract 3 again the same way. And I'm going to get y equals negative 9 is the second answer. So the solution here are negative 6 and negative 3. Doesn't matter which one goes first. And that's the answer. Any questions? So square root property is a shortcut how you solve equation which doesn't have x. That means when b is 0. If b is 0, you have square and number only. Questions? Yes? Oh, it's 9. Yes. Yeah, you're right. Negative 9. Thank you. Negative 9, negative 3. I don't know, I turn it around. Question? It doesn't matter. No, the order of -9 and -3 doesn't matter. You can put -3 first, -9 second, doesn't matter. They're just two answers. Yes. It's a +3, yes. Something else? Okay, you're paying attention. Good job. No, you can't plug it in the calculator because you have y plus 3 squared. You have parentheses. You have to do parentheses first. So that's another way to do it. If you want to do the parentheses first, combine like terms, you're going to get x squared x a number, and then you solve it from there. You can do that also. But this is faster. Yes, you can just do square root. Yes. Okay, questions? Anything else? Okay, going to number 18. We have to solve this equation. This equation doesn't have x squared, but you have fraction. So what you need to do here is we have to get rid of the fraction first, yes? So what you're doing to get rid of the fraction? Multiply by x. So I'm going to multiply this side by x and the left side by x. When I do that, x in the fraction is going to cancel. And then I'm going to get x times x minus 6 equals 16. Now, when I distribute the parentheses, because that's the next thing I need to do, I'm going to multiply x times x, and that's going to be x squared, and then x times -6. So we're going to get x squared minus 6x equals 16. And then from there, we need to, what you doing from there? We have to move the 16. That's right. So I'm going to subtract 16 in both sides. It has to be equal 0 before you plug it in. So I have x squared minus 6x minus 16 equals 0. And then we're going to use the calculator. On the calculator, you're going to press second, and then cosine, and then 1 is for quadratic. And then you need to enter, what is a? A is the number in front of square, is 1. What is b? Minus 6. Always remember the sign goes with the number behind, or the number goes with the sign in front. And what is c? -16. So when you put that and then you press solve, what you get? X equals -2 and x2 equals 8. And that's all your answer. So you have -2 and 8. Okay, questions? Yes. Doesn't matter if you put 8, -2 or -2, 8. Any questions? Okay, number 19 is something we just solved in the beginning. We need to just get equals 0 first and then calculator again, yes? So we're going to subtract 24x to make it equal 0. And then the calculator, 24x squared minus 24x plus 6. Make sure you put it in that order so it's easy to find ABC. So A is going to be the number in front of the square, which is 24. B is the number in front of x, -24. And C is 6. So what you get for x1 and x2? Both of those are 1/2? Yes, that's right. And that's how you put it, 1/2, comma, 1/2. And again, I want to remind you, be careful, the comma has to be between the fractions and weapon sign, not in the bottom of the fraction. Yes? So the comma has to be between the two fractions. Any questions on 19? Okay, give me a second to finish that because I'm recording and then I'll come back again. Just, I want to record this. Number 20, we have equation which have parentheses and fractions. And what you need to do here is we can do the parentheses first because that's the order of operations. So we're going to multiply x times this, and that will give us 15x minus x times 16 over x equals 15 over x. Now what's happened here is this x and this x cancel out. But we still have a fraction, right? So we're going to copy what is left, 15x minus 16 equals 15 over x. So this is pretty much similar like the one we just did, like one equation above this one, like this. When you have only one fraction, we're going to do the same. We're going to multiply by what you're multiplying in this case. Going to multiply by x. That's right. Multiply this side by x and this side by x, and that's going to cancel the fraction. So right now we don't have any more fractions, and when you do the parentheses, you're going to get x squared. So what is important here and different is you're doing parentheses, then you're doing fraction, and then you're doing parentheses again. So this is a little bit more complicated equation, but we're doing everything we need to do, right? So multiplying x times 15x is 15x squared minus x times 16 is 16x equals 15. And then when you move 15 over, you're going to get equals 0. And that's how you're going to plug it in. So before you plug it in, you're going to get 15x squared minus 16x minus 15 equals 0. And if somebody can plug this for me, and then I'm going to take a little break. Just turning it into a quadratic. Yes, it becomes quadratic. Yes, and then you plug it in. A is 15, B is negative 16, and C is negative 15. And tell me what you get. Negative. I'm sorry, negative what? 3 over 5, comma, 5 over 3. Thank you. So these are the answers. And again, make sure you put the decimal point between the two fractions. Okay, I'm stopping.